Hello, my name is Victoria, and I am a self taught sewist. And these are the things that I learned from some sewing failures. I started my sewing endeavor in late 2024 and have made a lot of things over the course of that time. Taking a very long break over the course of last year because I was pregnant and having a fresh newborn. But I have learned a lot and recently picked up my interest in sewing and have really benefited from different people on YouTube sharing things that their knowledge in sewing and materials and pattern adjusting. And I just want to show you the beautiful story of this fabric. So, as every beginning sewerist, I found this fabric, which was expensive. Was very excited to use it, and instead of practicing on very cheap fabrics, I did some of that, but not enough. I decided I'm gonna go ahead and make this. So I had made this overalls from an indie pattern creator that I found on Etsy. I had made them out of flannel. I was very happy and proud of myself. They were very structured. I liked them. And when I found this fabric, I decided I want to make shorts overalls. And I'm going to use this fabric and this pattern, and it's going to be amazing. A little caveat is at the time of this decision, I was pregnant, and I knew that I was going to be in my third trimester during the summer when I would probably wear these overalls. And my primary concern was chafing in my legs. So I really wanted long shorts. And that's all I wore during pregnancy. It was Bermuda shorts. It was long shorts, like biker shorts, whatever, right? But I also wanted very flowy clothes. So I thought that I could just take these overalls, cut them at the knee, and call it a day. And that's what I did. Thing is, I made them very big because I anticipated growing very big, which I did. But newsflash, the summer came, and I did not wear them. I cannot answer why I did not wear them, but I just didn't. I guess I didn't like how they looked, or I forgot about them, but I didn't wear them. Fast forward to a year later, in the spring of 2026, and I decide that I need to figure out whether I'm going to wear these or what's wrong with them. So I put them on, and I realize that when you cut the shorts like that, when you cut pants at the knee like that, you don't get a particularly flattering shape because it doesn't have like continuity that you expect. And like I said, they were kind of like Bermuda shorts, and they were an awkward length, and it just felt weird, especially for a baggy overall. So I decided that maybe if I just cut them shorter, they'd be better. So that was the first thing I did. I cut them shorter. Still not happy with them. I realized that the body piece of, I don't know what this is called, but this part of the overalls were just too short. And so they just sat in a weird height. And I didn't have any way to really fix that. So I said, I can't keep working with this. It's not doing it. I'm just going to set this aside for now. I did, however, have many scraps of the gingham, and I thought, there's something I can make with this. I know I can. And that's when I found the collage top from Matchy Matchy Sewing Club. So this is what I did. I was like, I'm going to use this, and it's going to be a beautiful top. And as you can see, I was really proud of the construction of this top. It is a beautiful top. I It was amazing to see how much growth I had made in my sewing abilities, and I was very happy with the construction of this garment. But unfortunately, the second lesson learned is you make a toile. You always make a toile before you use your expensive fabric. Because although I made a beautiful garment, I did not like the way it looked on my body. And there were many things that I could have changed about this pattern in order to make it something that I like better, probably made it longer because I prefer longer tops now instead of cropped. I could have adjusted some heights so that it could not fall on my chest the way it does, which I don't like. And now I am aware of what things I can change, and I've been incorporating that lesson learned into many other sewing projects. But it meant that I truly had no more of this fabric that I could use. Desperate to find a use for this fabric and to actually have a garment in this fabric, I returned to my overalls and decided that because the top of this overalls was just the problem, I'm going to cut it off and I'm going to make them into shorts. Should be simple. I've made shorts before. I know how to do an elastic waistband. It's going to be great. Next lesson learned. Using a serger. I very quickly got a serger when I got my sewing machine, which not necessary, but I thought it was going to be the best. And it is, it's pretty convenient. But something I did not realize is that because I had done a lot of small stretch baby clothing items, I constructed my overalls using the serger to create the construction seams. The thing about using an overlocker is that it is sufficient for the structural seams of a stretch garment, but not for other fabrics because it will cause it to unravel. Or if you put too much tension on it and unravels, it's just not the way to do. So I ended up with this beautiful hole right here already. And I reinforced many of the seams and I redid them. But the other thing that I learned is naively, I thought that all elastics were the same. I knew, of course, that they had different widths, and it did not occur to me that there would be different kinds of structures for elastics. So I had some elastic in the width that would work for my shorts, and that's what I used. However, I'm very picky about elastic waistbands that are not secured in place and that roll inside the casing. So I decided that I was going to sew along the length of the elastic in order to add a detail and secure it in place, which was something I had seen in many other videos and other people do to elastic waistbands. Here's the thing. There are different kinds of elastic, and the elastic that I had was a braided elastic, which, newsflash, is the least structured of them all. Braided elastic has the tendency to distort when stretched, just not retain its shape. My cat is meowing. Hi, Margot. Hi, baby girl. The thing is, when you stretch it, it distorts shape and it rolls, and it's fine. You can use it, but it's not going to be a very supportive elastic. It's going to sag if you put things in your pockets, is what I'm trying to indicate. And the thing about braided elastic is that if you sew through it, you actually compromise the integrity of the fibers. So it becomes it weakens when you do that. The elastic that people are typically using in sewing through is knit elastic, which is less likely to distort when stretched. It still folds. There is such a thing as an elastic, a non-roll elastic, but knit elastic is reinforced by a seam through it and not broken. So what I have is this final product, which, I mean, I guess you can wear it around the house. You can use it as pajamas, but it makes me very sad because this is 3 failed projects that led me astray, but served as a very important lesson, several lessons that I learned, and have made me a much better sewist since. So, I think that there is a lot of value in doing a bunch of different projects, even though I'm very sad that this fabric went to waste, quote unquote. I wanted to share the kinds of things that I learned in my experience because I figured it would be helpful for someone in the same position because I love watching videos like this. So, if you would like to hear more about different projects and things that I'm working on, I would love to continue sharing. Please let me know in the comments, in the bottom. And to go away, why don't you tell me what was a difficult lesson you learned in your latest project, whether it was sewing project or any other creative project? Very ambitious, but just not experienced enough. See ya.